In addition to the while and do while loop, the C programming language also provides us with the for loop. The for loop is a specialized loop that has a specific goal of counting predetermined numbers of loops. And the way we do that is we'll have some type of initialization at the beginning of the loop that's part of the definition of the loop. So for example, you might set x equal to 0. And then you're going to have some test that's related to that. So that's going to be, you want your counter x to be less than some number, let's say 10. And then you do some subtasks related to this. So this is our loop body. This is just generic stuff that we're going to do inside our loop. And then usually you're going to have some type of reinitialization of that initialization variable. So like we might increment x up 1. That's typically what you do, although you don't have to, but that's generally what we consider best practice with for loops. So why have this as opposed to a while loop? So let's look at this a little bit. Here are two functionally equivalent loops. You've got your while loop here and your for loop here. And so let's trace through the for loop to help you get a better sense of what we do with it. So, like we've done with every other loop, we're going to start off and trace through our code. So the first time the for loop is encountered, it's going to initialize x is equal to 0. And so that comes out here. And then the first time it runs it as well, it's also going to check the condition to make sure, hey, did you not create a loop that's not runnable? So is x less than 2? So is 0 less than 2? Absolutely. And so then it's going to go into the body of the loop, and it's going to print out the value of x is equal to 0. And then we have another compound statement here. We've got this x++ is going to be the incrementation of x, and then we're going to check our condition again. So as you can see, x was incremented up to 1, and now we're checking this, and since 1 is less than 2, we run our loop again. So we print our value, and then we increment x again, but we also check our condition code immediately afterwards. So x is now equal to 2. Is 2 less than 2? No. So it's false. So we exit our for statement, and we move on to whatever statement is to be executed next. So as you've seen before, this is a while loop is exactly functionally equivalent. You've got your initialization, your condition, your increment, and your increment. So basically what this allows us to do is create more readable code. And so this helps you, as a programmer, to go, okay, I know I want to do this loop a certain number of times. I'm just going to write that basically into my loop definition here. Whereas with your while statement, you have to break this up into several different places. You have to make sure you put your increment inside the while. So it's just not as readable or as accessible. But the trade-off of readability is it's less powerful and less versatile in that sense.